Hello and welcome to another audio analysis. In today's video we'll be taking a look at the track Blue Reverie by the American progressive metalcore band ERRA. This is the third and latest track to be released by the band from their upcoming studio album titled Cure, which is due to land on April 5th of this year, and serves as the follow-up to their self-titled album of 2021. The band really seem to be making waves with some of the songs they have been releasing from this album in the form of Pale Iris and Cure, the two we did get to hear previously, and they really are setting themselves up for success across this year. And we can certainly see with some of the ideas that we did see on those first two tracks how the album may revolve around this idea of really losing yourself or gradually being eaten away. The idea of this Pale Iris, this idea of fading, and then with Cure, with the video we did have for that, we saw the kind of band members effectively being gradually pulled into the sky just bit by bit. So we're really seeing some interesting elements and also some really interesting themes coming across on the album so far. But will this latest track lead us into a daydream or a nightmare? Let's take a look at exactly how it sounds.
Silent wake as the day is burning, slip back into my silhouette. I don't know when the trains are running, get me back on the hideaway, hideaway, hideaway. In the subtle turning to emotion in a pirouette, wide awake with a quiet yearning, give me seaside to hide away.
Okay, I am loving some of the elements we've got really coming through on this track. Certainly a bit of a switch up from those first two songs that we did here, really letting Jesse Cash take the lead. And you can really see some of the elements that he's really pulling across from his side project Ghost Atlas, who did recently release Dust of the Human Shape. It's much more of a melodic alt-rock sound if you haven't heard of his side project before, but you can really see those softer tones really coming through. And for some it may be a bit jarring hearing them go into something a bit softer, but I think it really works because of the ideas that are coming across on this track. It's all about this idea of slipping into your daydreams. That's the idea of reverie. It's kind of what it means, the idea of being in a dreamlike state where you're almost daydreaming of this other world. And you can really see how that links to the other tracks from this album. The idea of, we did see on Cure, really this idea of fading away, these pale irises. Every track seems to revolve around that idea of trying to move into this other life effectively, or not live in the current world, or just be gradually eaten away. So I love the ideas we're really seeing across. Silent wake as the day is burning. You're burning away time because you're spending so much time daydreaming. You want to slip back into my silhouette, so slipping into the shadows, into the darkness, where effectively you can dream. You're in this almost dreamlike state as you sleep, so almost trying to get to this other place, but you're struggling to do so. And I love this third line on this first verse. I don't know when the trains are running. You don't know when you can get back to this Blue Reverie, this oasis inside your mind that only comes in your sleep. And I love the way they've used the idea of trains, because it's this idea of you can't get there without this assistance. You can't take yourself there. You're waiting on this certain point or certain thing to take you there. So the idea, if you don't know when the trains are running, you don't know when you're going to be able to find it. So I love the way it's like of the idea of you can't always access the dreams that you want. So I really love that. Get me back home to hide away. The fact that your dreams or this dreamlike state feels more like home than the real world that you live in, and you want to hide away in it constantly. So I love this constant reference and the great use of trains as a metaphor for not having that access yourself to sleep at any point. So it could really look at the idea of insomnia and things like that. Sky ablaze in the subtle turning, two-way motion in a pirouette, wide awake with a quiet yearning, get me seaside to hide away. So I really like the idea of this Blue Reverie, kind of the idea of blue skies, blue ocean, just all the way out. This very picturesque, descriptive style that they're really bringing across, that many imagine as being a very calm place. And again, that's what they're using the Blue Reverie for as well. Blue can often reference to this idea of calm. It really ties to that emotion. So I really like the way that they're bringing that across in the actual choice of words. Very, very smart. But the sky ablaze, the sun almost beating down on you. So I love the way they really have these very picturesque lyrics. Time waits for me in a Blue Reverie. This place that you can be in where time just stands still. It never changes. Time waits for me in bloom. So you've always got this paradise, but you can't always access it. So I really love the way they're bringing that across. And then as we do head into the chorus as well, do you imagine the illusion calls your name? The idea that it kind of begins to consume your waking moments. You hear this call from this paradise, from this mirage that really wants you to go there, but you can't embrace it. From a world you can't embrace, hide away. All the rain that's falling that the clouds cannot contain. So really showing that this current state that you're awake, you really just have the rain pouring on you. You feel like everything's really rough and you can't escape the constant negativity and things like that until the embers find the waves. The idea of burning away at certain things. So I love the use of fire as well and the waves. The idea of overlapping and just trying to kind of wash away certain things. So try and wash away your darkness and your negativity by going again to this mirage. So this constant idea of hide away. And I love in the chorus as well as we do really see JT really come back in. And I love how they've mixed this because his screams are there. He's being brought in, but it's not really at the forefront. Jesse is still that dominating force on this, but it's almost showing that darkness and kind of mixing in with the light with these clean and more unclean vocals that really beautifully clash together to really show this disparity between these two places, this dreamlike world and this real world, and how one's very light and one's very dark. I swear metalcore bands just absolutely know how to do some of the most beautiful tracks when they really switch things up and go into slowing things down, or certainly exploring something much softer, and you can really see so many different sounds and elements really coming through. Certainly Jesse taking the lead, really showing that Ghost Atlas style that we have seen. Also Tool Called, they won their sections back. Like, I love the way they dipped into that Tool sound. Many of their songs really talk almost from this perspective of this dreamlike state. They kind of put you in a very puzzling, mysterious manner with a lot of their music, and I love how, following on from the refrain, we really got that coming through, and it was a really interesting thing. As soon as I heard that guitar, I was just like, man, I feel like I'm listening to a Tool track at this point. But I love the way it fit in with a lot of the themes revolving around the idea of daydreaming, and how it's perfectly encapsulated by Tool's sound, and the way that a lot of their elements really provide that state that you kind of put you in. So I really like how they drew from some of those ideas and really made it their own in this track. And then also heading into the breakdown, I love how, whilst we still had JT coming in with this breakdown and really providing something, a bit of a heavier element to this track, even in that section the guitars were still at the front of the mix, almost still keeping us in this very wanderlust kind of state. So I really love the way they did that, and also used the breakdown to talk about the fact of living in this dreamlike state being a way that you can kind of annihilate yourself because you're passing time on, you're not living in the moment. Is Wandering the Cure to the Quiet Annihilation, a trilogy of decades gone, knowing now that I'll always be searching. You're constantly aiming to reach this oasis, but you can't always guarantee it that you're going to get there, and time slips away from you. So I love that breakdown, and the way that they really made great use of JT's harsher vocals, but the way that they constructed it in such a powerful way that really came across. And even as we head towards the later stages of the song as well, we just get this gradual fade out. Again, just these constant ideas of fading and things that aren't really coming across on this album. They're really building around that idea, and we've certainly seen that with all three of the tracks so far. There's the constant idea of hideaway, just slipping back into my silhouette. So I love the lyrical choice for so many different reasons. I love the idea of this Blue Reverie, the way they paint this beautiful picture with these much softer tones really coming in from the band, and how they've really adapted quite well to some of these elements. I mean, you've really got to give credit to Alex Ballew on the drums, just really the way he adds a lot of these fills to really add this really softer touch nature to the track, and really works in unison with all of the other members to really provide this very atmospheric and very uplifting sound, before we do actually use JT's vocals to really kind of tear this oasis apart, or really explore the darkness of this real life, and also split that from the beauty and the reverie that's really coming from this oasis dreamlike state. So there we have it, our third dose of Cure, but I would love to know your thoughts about this track in the comments section below. How do you feel about the band switching into something a little bit softer, or do you prefer the heavier elements that we did see really coming from Pale Iris and also from Cure? I would love to know your thoughts on how you feel about the three tracks, but more so on this one. I think it is a beautiful track, and I'm really glad to see some of these metalcore bands really putting out some incredibly beautiful tracks with some soft elements, and they're doing it so very well. Also, if you would like to see more content like this, then please do feel free to subscribe, and I will see you in the next audio analysis.